Wine and Crime contains graphic and explicit content which may not be suitable for some listeners. Listener discretion is advised.
Wine and Crime, the podcast where three friends chug wine, chat true crime, and unleash their worst Minnesotan accents that always sound like you're scolding.
Mm-hmm.
Trouble.
Am I in trouble?
Very
You're
heavy
in
on the
trouble.
scold.
Gotta.
Yeah.
Gotta scold.
Gotta scold.
Skull.
I see what you did.
Oh.
Little insider baseball there. Scold.
Oh my God. Ish.
Baseball? Insider baseball is just a phrase.
Football.
I'm the queen of sports.
I don't get it. Anyway.
Who are you?
Okay, Kenyon. I'm Kenyon.
Oh, wow. That's Kenyon, queen of sports.
Yeah.
I'm Lucy, queen of teeth.
Nothing.
Cats.
Both.
Cats and teeth.
both.
Queen of cats and teeth. I like that. I'm
Okay.
Amanda, queen of scat. That scat. Get your head out of the gutter. You knew what kind of scat I meant.
I truly did not know. What
I
meant
meant the other kind.
Yeah.
You did. You knew.
I really did think the poop
How-
kind.
How I really did too. Amanda, how is
Yeah.
shop vacuing your office going?
You know what? It's great.
Oh, poor thing.
Melting season is great. Home ownership is amazing. And I have no regrets whatsoever.
No regrets pouring all my liquid earthly assets into this one structure.
This was so smart to do.
It's the American dream.
I'm living the dream. For sure. I'm for sure living it. I'm living something.
I'm saying it now. I warned both of you against purchasing an old house.
My house isn't
You did.
even that old.
Oldish.
Oldish.
It's not nearly as old as Kenyon's. I
No.
thought I was in the clear. Alas.
Lucy, when was your
Wasn't.
house built?
49?
And Lucy?
21.
Yeah. Then
When
I
was
wanna
yours
hear it.
built?
1900.
Nice.
Good
Nice.
Nope.
You have the biggest
No.
regrets of all of us.
Uh-huh.
Brick, man. Then the next house that I live in, there will not be a single brick.
Brick, man.
Who knew, right?
Makes everything more difficult and infinitely more expensive to fix.
I'm fucking moving into a 3D printed plastic home.
Yeah.
Like,
Just
that's
wash
it.
it down once a week.
Yep.
New
Spray her
build.
off. Spray her down.
No soft surfaces.
None.
None.
Absolutely
porous
none.
surfaces.
Yep. Nothing porous. Nothing to see here.
Maybe one of those like plywood cabins.
Great. Sounds great.
Everything's above ground, so if it's not
Mhm.
super convenient, you just move it.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
We're
Yeah.
describing a shipping container, and
Yeah.
I'm
I'm moving into a shipping container.
I'd take it.
It's happening.
Anyway, that's neither here nor there. We have a very special fan pick for you this week, brought to you by our very special fan picker, Rolo Dolo.
Oh, YOLO, Rolo.
Rolo Dolo.
I hope that is your God-given name.
I love it.
Rolo Dolo has selected the topic of Bermuda Triangle Mysteries.
Uh-huh.
Excellent topic. I'm so excited about this.
Great
Uh-huh.
topic. And also, like, I know that this was picked way in advance, but we talked about it a lot very recently on Fucked Up First.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
And
yeah, Amelia.
We
and
did.
how we all had just crammed Amelia Earhart's story randomly into the Bermuda Triangle, even though it had nothing to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Mandela effect.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
OMG, we should do a Mandela effect crimes, even though that like wouldn't be a thing, but still.
The Mandela effect really freaks me out.
It fucks me off.
Well, why don't I just cover it for the next GAC?
Great.
Oh,
'Cause
okay.
it's not a
perfect.
full episode and we can still talk about it.
And then I'll
Perfect.
at least be prepared for my new fear because it's actually an existing fear.
Honey, we will get to your fears. I'm so sorry. I hope you took your meds today, but there are lots of fears in my segment. Ugh.
Cool.
Well, let's lube up before we terrify Amanda.
But did you take your meds?
I did.
Okay, good.
And now
Grabbing
she's
my
about
wine.
to self-medicate some more.
Did you take your
Amanda,
as-needed meds?
what is our wine crime pairing for Bermuda Triangle Mysteries?
Well, since we're dreaming of the BT, which stands for Bermuda Triangle, I thought that's what the cool kids call the Bermuda Triangle,
Or
the BT.
Big tatties.
Baptized. I thought we would dive into summer, dive in, because it's
Okay.
in the ocean, get it? With Winc's Summer Water Sparkling Rosé.
Yeah.
Water.
It is like 45 degrees outside, so spring is here, baby.
It's like 70 degrees here.
I
was outside for 7 minutes.
I don't want to hear that.
It was
Not to brag.
75 here yesterday, and I almost lost my gourd. It was amazing.
I love when you lose your gourd.
It's gone. My
amazing.
gourd is gone.
She gone. So this is a bottle from our friends over at Winc Wine Club, which is an online wine club that delivers wine directly to your door or your local Walgreens, so you can pick it up while you're getting your hemorrhoid cream. And they are our favorite people over at Winc. Like, they switch up the available varietals seasonally. So right now is a super fun time to hop on, especially if you're like us and you're super gay for rosé, because it's like spring is springing and they have so many fun rosés on their website right now. It's actually super funny. I was like planning out pairings for the next couple months, and our production assistant Andrea texted me and was like, there's like 7 rosés on here. Do you maybe want to do you
you're like,
maybe
"No."
want to switch it up? And I was like, ugh, fine, I will switch it up. Just that God bless Andrea. Thank you for reining me in. But I just get so excited about rosé. I love it. So this is a little bit more of like a limited edition. Oh, also, sorry, I remember how to do this job. If you are a first timer over to Winc, you should check it out. And if you head to trywinc.com/gals, you get $20 off your first order. I highly recommend it. I highly recommend getting a membership because then you also get member pricing. So typically the pricing for members is like on average $3 per bottle less than
That
the
adds
regular
up.
price. It really, really, really does. So become a member, use that promo code GALS, get that $20 off your first box.
Tell a
And
friend.
Tell a friend, start living your best life.
But yeah, tell a friend, because you can also get like coupons to send a free box to your friends.
You can. If you're a member, you will get like, a box of
You
wine
get all
to
kinds
gift.
of perks.
Yeah, to other
Amazing.
people. There's so many great perks. This is a sparkling version of their summer water rosé, which they've had in their inventory seasonally for a long time. It's one of my favorite go-to rosés. It's so delicious.
It's
It's
so
very
good.
like simple.
It's light, it's crisp, it's just like it's just fucking gorgeous. It pairs really well with springy and summery foods like ceviche, citrus salads,
Yum.
chicken on the
Like
grill.
a tabbouleh salad.
Yes, chickpea salad. I'm so fucking hungry. This is a Central Coast rosé. It's not telling me everything, but I believe it's primarily Pinot Noir, which you can kind of tell from the coloring. It's extremely light and pale. And also, for those watching from home, yes, 2 of my nails broke into a perfect shocker on
It was
my
on purpose.
left hand. So you can tell what I've been up to. She clocks in at, where are you at? 12.5 ABV. This is, like I said, it's sparkling, so it's lightly carbonated, and it is a popper. Now, with sparkling bottles, you don't need a wine key, but you do need to be careful.
You do need goggles.
Protective
eyewear.
You might need goggles, and I'm gonna
Or just
try it.
one goggle.
Yeah, gog.
Are we
Or
ready?
Yes.
I'm not. Here we go.
Oh, Jesus.
Nice pop. Didn't
pop.
Robust pop.
Wow.
That was a real well-rounded pop.
Oh, she's so pretty.
Yeah.
Oh
It's
my
a beautiful
God.
bottle.
Look at this.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, cheers,
Oh,
everybody.
she's so cute. I got a high noon myself.
Ooh, which flav?
Passion fruit.
Yum.
Yum. This is my first one, and I just took my first sip, and it's actually alarmingly delicious.
Fuck yeah.
I got a rum and Coke.
Yum.
Nice. A spicy Coke.
Mhm.
Go hog.
Yeah, and I'm drinking in my grandpa's, actually my great-grandpa's old restaurant, the Covered Wagon in St. Paul. This
oh my
is
God.
one of their glasses. It's actually one of my prized possessions.
I love that.
cute.
I know,
Don't
isn't
drop
that so
it.
cute? Yeah. Anyway,
Oh my God, that's so fucking good.
Cheers, ladies.
cheers.
Charles.
All right, Lucy, what's hit us with the background and maybe psych for Bermuda Triangle Mysteries.
Oh,
Oh,
gotta
there's
get
no
my
psych.
bones out. There's no psych.
Oh, jeez.
Those dusty, dusty bones.
Yeah,
fucking
they're
dusty
getting
bones.
a little dusty at the bottom there, but
We'll send you
we're
more.
okay.
Yeah, everything is dust.
There is no shortage of goat tail bones in the
A
world.
lot of
Correct.
goats
to tell
out
you.
there.
Do you know goat is the most commonly consumed meat on the planet?
Yeah.
That makes sense because, I mean, a large swaths of like the Middle East, India,
Mhm.
Asia,
Mm-hmm.
that's a primary commodity.
It's a
I
lot of
love
bones.
Lot of bones.
All right. The Bermuda Triangle, the BT, is a section of the North Atlantic Ocean off North America in which more than 50 ships and 20 airplanes, to their best guesses, are said to have mysteriously disappeared.
Yeah.
The area, whose boundaries are not universally agreed upon, has a vaguely triangular shape marked by the Atlantic coast of the Florida Panhandle in the U.S., so the outside.
Fucking Florida. It explains so much about Florida.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
It really does. Bermuda and the Greater Antilles. Antilles?
Antilles, I think.
Antilles. Well, the Greater A's. The exact boundaries of the Bermuda Triangle are not universally agreed upon, which I just said. Approximations of the total area range between 500,000 and 1,510,000 square miles.
Yeah, that's quite a range.
It's a big ol' area. And it is not an official region according to the U.S. Board on Geographic Names. So it's just it's a theory in
Just
a lot of ways.
Thing that we've kind of clung to.
Mm-hmm.
It is a pop culture phenomenon, basically, and we'll get to it. So this is from Encyclopedia Britannica. I love her. Reports of unexplained occurrences in the region date to the mid-19th century. Some ships were discovered completely abandoned for no apparent reason.
We'll get to it.
Yes. Others transmitted no distress signals and then were never seen or heard from again. Aircraft have been reported and then vanished, and rescue missions are said to have vanished when flying in the area. However, wreckage has not been found, and some of the theories advanced to explain the repeated mysteries have been fanciful. So there's a lot of bullshit floating around in here, too.
I'll take it.
I kind of love the bullshit, though.
I love
I'm
the
not here
bullshit.
for facts.
Right.
No.
We know who we are.
I'm here to be entertained.
Exactly. Are you not entertained?
If it makes a better story, we'll go with it.
Exactly.
1,000%. Yeah.
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 Although theories of supernatural causes for these disappearances abound, geophysical and environmental factors are most likely responsible. So disappearances began to be noticed. It's not to say that they didn't start happening, but they were just noticed around September of 1950 when an article was published in the Miami Herald. 2 years later, an article by George Sands outlined specific disappearances and their locations, which kind of got people talking about the area in general. They're like, wait a second. That's kind of weird. And also, who named the Bermuda Triangle, you may ask? I think Amanda's going to talk about this dude.
I mentioned him one time in this exact context, so take it away.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there was like a really weirdo writer named Vincent Gaddis who wrote a whole bunch of paranormal books in the mid-20th century. He was criticized for basically making shit up when there were very plausible natural explanations for strange events. And okay.
A journalist after our own heart.
Yes.
I would not call him a journalist, but
I wouldn't call us a journalist either.
No.
That's the point.
That was the joke.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the joke.
Got it.
I got it, Kenyon. Don't worry. I'm right with you, honey.
Well, Amanda can vouch for me when we have talked in the past about the solar eclipse and how there are natural phenomena that if you don't have a clear understanding of what's going on, you're gonna be like fucking blown away.
Yep.
Like disturbed. Just nature is fucking wild.
It's wild.
A lot of weird shit can happen. Have you seen those videos of like, I don't even know the context because I'm just constantly scrolling, so I don't even fucking know anything
The lights
anymore.
over Beijing.
No, I want to check that out. That sounds cool. It was like these random like little mini whirlpools and like a duck just gets like sucked down into it. And,
Oh
like, disappears.
my God. What?
I think it's just like a river and there are like all these ducks and then there are like two like mini whirlpools and a duck just like gets swooped into it and then you don't see it again.
Oh my God. Mm-mm. No.
Yes, exactly like that.
Yeah.
But like nature and the planet and all of like the physical elements and phenomena are fucking wild.
It's
and I
too
think
much.
it's so fucking cool that we have a grasp of it today.
Not us personally.
Clearly not us personally.
I don't know, like this duck went into a whirlpool. It's
And then you like
crazy.
never saw it again.
I literally can't explain it. It's like, yeah, we know you can.
I'm doing my best here.
You're doing great. You're fucking doing great. I literally cannot explain it. It's fucking wild.
Check it out if you dare.
So if you dare.
If you dare.
Have you ever said Bloody Mary 3 times
In a mirror.
The natural world is cray.
Crazy.
So, okay, there's us, but then there's also people who supposedly do research and publish books who should probably know
Supposedly.
better.
Yeah.
So
Oh, for sure.
Then there's humankind.
Right.
Yeah, so that's the category where Vincent Gaddis would probably. So, yeah, making shit up when there are very plausible natural explanations for strange events. For example, he made comments about spontaneous human combustion.
See?
And then-
See?
And then publish these articles and I think it's in one of his books. And then all of a sudden, like a lot of people really believed that this was a real and common occurrence.
I am one of those lot of people.
Exhibit A.
Yep.
Some of the titles of his books were Mysterious Fires and Lights, The Curious World of Twins, which, hi, I need that book now.
This guy basically was the first podcaster.
Yep.
Yeah. I am
And-
so royally creeped out by the mysterious world of twins.
I know, right?
Well,
And a little less cool, American Indian Myths and Mysteries.
okay.
I have a feeling he was just making shit up.
Right.
Right.
He wrote a cover story for a popular American pulp magazine called Argosy in 1964. And this was described as like a men-only magazine. It's like one of those pseudo-erotic,
Hey, I get it.
the
There are-
true detective kind of
There
They're
are
like
no
kind of
safe
erotic.
spaces just for men anymore. So I'm glad they had this
In
available.
1964.
Yeah,
I
there
would've
was
been-
nowhere for them to go.
I would have been all about this magazine
Mhm.
at the time. But yeah, men only. I have to imagine it was a little bit erotic.
Alien
and then
erotica.
alien
Porn
paranormal erotica.
Nerds who had to send away.
Who had to
subscribe.
write
Mail
in.
order porn. Yeah.
Mail order nerd porn in the 60s.
I'm
Got it.
gonna
Mhm.
need
That's gonna be
Archives of
Amanda's
Argosy
next
magazine.
wallpaper.
yeah.
Her master or her primary
Gonna
bedroom
need
is
it.
about to be.
Argosy.
Gonna need it. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so in this article, he talked about the area in the Atlantic where, quote, hundreds of ships and planes have disappeared without a trace.
Slightly inflated number. Love it.
Inflated and also didn't disappear without a trace.
Well,
most of the actual ones, but whatever. In 1974, the Bermuda Triangle was further popularized by author Charles Berlitz and his book, The Bermuda Triangle. So have you heard of the Berlitz language learning software?
Oh, yeah.
That's his family.
Okay.
No.
So I think he had he had all of this money from his family publishing language learning materials. And so he could
Books
kind of
and-
do what he wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And so he just willy-nilly published this book, The Bermuda Triangle, with a lot of misleading statements. So if any of your research went back to Charles Berlitz, then that's who that is.
Nope. Sure didn't.
Okay. So let's talk about the most likely causes of these disappearances first.
Okay.
The first has to do with what's called the agonic line. Agonic. It is, quote, an imaginary line around the Earth passing through both the North Pole and the North Magnetic Pole at any point on which a compass needle points to true north. And Amanda, I'm talking to you specifically. I'm going to need you to stick with me because this is a little bit confusing.
You've already lost me, so it's fine.
Why me?
Because you are the first to say, I'm bored. I'm not listening.
Okay. Fair. Yes. But that's my mental illness.
Okay.
Mostly.
Well, just bear with me. I think this will be easier to understand as a concept than maybe the words that come out of my mouth. But here we go.
Okay. I'll trust you.
So we have the geographic North and South poles, right? The North and South Pole that we know of.
Yep.
And these poles are determined by the axis of the Earth's rotation.
Okay.
So the Earth's rotation gives us the equator and it gives us the North and the South poles. But we also have the magnetic North Pole, which is where the Earth's magnetic field points vertically downwards. And by downward, I think they mean like into the center of the Earth. The Earth creates its own magnetic field from the electrical currents created in the liquid iron nickel core. So the guts of the Earth are magnetic.
Magnetic. Okay.
And that
So
is how compasses work.
that was my next question.
So that pole
Compasses
is
go by
different-
Earth guts.
Is different than, first of all, that's fast. Thank you for explaining that.
That
I
is
never knew how
fascinating.
compasses work. And second of all, so they're different. Those are different poles.
Exactly.
So a compass pointing north isn't actually pointing right at the North Pole.
You got it, sister.
Okay.
I used to think that the North Pole was a literal metal pole that was magnetic.
1,000%. Yep.
Yeah. But that's
And
not
Santa
what it is.
lived behind it.
Yes.
Under it.
Santa
It was
was
Santa's mailbox.
radioactive with
Yeah.
horrific deformities.
That's what you... Okay.
Okay.
I'm not going to ask any further
Fine.
follow-up questions.
I was a
Yeah.
unique child. Okay.
Yes, and you are now a unique adult.
So
Unique New York.
the agonic line marks the point on the Earth's surface where the direction of true north and magnetic north are exactly the same. So if you think about like a big stretch mark from the top of the globe to the south to the bottom of the globe,
Okay.
and it kind of wavers around because the Earth's guts are always shifting.
Okay.
So at any point, this so-called vertical line might be aligned with a true north to south line.
Okay.
but because it's always squirming around, sometimes it is and sometimes it's not. But
Okay.
the agonic line is where those two lines fall into the same place.
Okay.
Interesting.
So in navigation, it's crucial to take into account the magnetic declination, so the magnetic variance between, or I say the variance between the North Pole and the magnetic north.
Okay.
So when you're navigating, it's crucial to take into account that variance based on your location in order to accurately determine the direction of true north. So to make things a little more complicated, like I said, the magnetic North Pole is constantly moving, Earth guts moving, and it has actually been moving faster since the 1970s. I'm not
Don't
sure
like that.
why.
I do not like that.
Oh,
I
the
don't
Earth's
know what
guts
that
are
means.
roiling more.
They're roiling.
And I don't like it.
She's got a bellyache.
Oh,
Is it
God.
because we're like
the worst as
mining
humans?
deeper
Maybe.
and like disturbing it?
Maybe. Or it might just be like a cyclical phenomenon. I'm not sure. So sometimes this line crosses through the area of the Bermuda Triangle, and sometimes it does not. The U.S. Navy has actually released a statement about this theory about the agonic line being like in the Bermuda Triangle.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, quote, "It has been inaccurately claimed that the Bermuda Triangle is one of the two places on Earth at which a magnetic compass points toward true north. Normally, a compass will point toward magnetic north. The difference between these two is known as compass variation," as we kind of talked about. Although in the past, this compass variation did affect the Bermuda Triangle region due to fluctuations in the Earth's magnetic field, this has apparently not been the case since the 19th century.
So
it
maybe
actually
it was
hasn't-
the reason back then, but now it's not.
Exactly.
Or maybe it's why things have cooled off and things aren't disappearing as often.
But also, 19th century, we weren't flying airplanes around.
True.
No, mostly
So-
ships. Also, a lot more shipping.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
we
maybe
have
not.
a lot more shipping now.
Right.
A lot more shipping now than we did in the 19th century. So basically, the Navy's saying, like, yes, in theory, that could be a reason, but because of the fact that that agonic line has not been within the Bermuda Triangle area since the 19th century, that will not account for any of these more modern current disappearances.
Okay.
So where is that line now? Just like in the middle of the Atlantic somewhere, or like
You can Google it, I'm
over
sure.
Florida?
They have it.
that would explain a lot.
I'm sure you can Google it. I did not look at where it is now. But I'm sure that they know where it is now.
Okay.
So that's what the agonic line is. Another logical explanation for these disappearances is based on the area of the Atlantic. This is Amanda, take your meds time.
I feel so targeted.
It currently passes roughly west of Chicago.
Oh.
That's Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
No.
And through New Orleans,
No.
which is very crooked, I think. No?
Yeah, it's not ever like I'm not going to say that, but it's usually not like a straight line. It's like a wave. Because you also have to remember that the Earth is spherical.
Oh, I guess that's not crooked.
Says who?
Touche. Assuming that the Earth is spherical.
It's why the border between Minnesota and Wisconsin is so treacherous. It's where the agonic
We're
line
right
is.
on. You're crossing
Got
the
it.
agonic line.
Got it.
That's
Got it.
dangerous territory.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sorry. Continue.
Okay, so another logical explanation for these disappearances is based on the area of the Atlantic where the triangle is located. It's where lots of storms can converge from multiple directions, and this is in part thanks to the Gulf Stream. So think about the Gulf of Mexico. A lot of that weather kind of goes in like a circular, like
I
does like a
actually
180.
have a pic in my folder of this. So it's
Like
all
a photo.
Well, it's like a map.
Okay,
It's of the Sargasso Sea. Like, have you heard?
we'll touch on the Sargasso Sea.
There
Well,
you go.
maybe I won't in my notes, but that was another reason that maybe like ships went down.
So it shows the currents really well. It shows like the Gulf Stream, the North Atlantic Drift, the Azores, the Canary Current, North Equatorial Current, and the Antilles Current, and how they're all just kind of Looping.
roiling around together.
It's kind of crazy. Like, there are so many little islands and different streams and different weather patterns that are so unique to this area.
Listen,
So-
islands in the stream, that is what we are.
Coming
Nowhere
from afar.
in between. How could we be wrong?
So lots of these storms kind of blowing around, roiling around. One of the outcomes of this kind of scenario is the production of rogue waves.
Cool.
Another
Fear
very
for me.
realistic fear of mine.
Great.
These are, quote, massive waves that can reach heights of up to 100 feet or 30.5 meters for everyone outside of the United States, and would theoretically be powerful enough to destroy all evidence of a ship or airplane.
All?
Imagine being in an airplane and then a wave that is big enough to take down
you down.
your
Destroy you.
airplane.
Yeah.
Ah.
And these waves they're not just like close to the shoreline. They could be in the middle of the fucking ocean. Just like whoop, suck you down, suck you clear down.
Like a duck.
Okay.
Like the ducks. There we go.
That is horrifying.
I just got heartburn.
I know. I'm telling
just
you.
got heartburn.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I already didn't like flying. I'm never going overseas again. That's it.
If you're in an airplane, you're going to be over 100 feet over the
Says
ocean.
you.
Yeah, you have to be in a big airplane. No puddle jumpers.
No one's safe.
I think an actual big airplane is safe from a rogue wave. It might not be safe from other
like a
shit.
Boeing 747.
Yeah.
I don't know how you expect me to just trust that, but
My mom was on an airplane somewhere in the Caribbean, I believe.
No.
That was struck by lightning.
No.
Why is your mom
no.
such a fucking freak?
She's got a lot of stories. And you just wouldn't expect it.
No.
Yeah.
Not even a little bit.
There's such a thing as too many lived experiences.
Yeah. All the lights went out for a little bit on the air,
No,
like all the
would-
cabin lights. Yeah.
I would immediately die. Even if it wasn't a big deal, my heart would stop.
Yeah, I said something once, like, once again, this is how I found out. I said something about, like, you know, if lightning hits the plane and we all die, and she goes, lightning can hit a plane and you'll be fine. And I was like, what?
What also
Your
makes
mom the most paranoid
Yeah.
person ever.
That's what makes this so bizarre is that she has contingencies for every bonkers thing you could imagine, but lightning can hit a plane, you're fine.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
Cool.
You'll be fine.
Okay.
Oh my God, I love your mom so fucking much. She is just a trove of secrets.
My God.
Bottomless.
Yep.
Speaking of bottomless
No.
and also greatest fears, the deepest part of any ocean on planet Earth, aside from the Pacific, any areas of the Pacific, is located in the Bermuda Triangle. The Puerto Rico Trench is 497 miles long. And the deepest part, here's another reason to hate Wisconsin, is called the fucking Milwaukee Deep. That's what it's called.
That would be a great beer brand name.
Ooh, the Milwaukee
Deep.
That
Or
would be good.
sometimes called Milwaukee Depth.
Ugh.
And the depth of this, it doesn't sound like very long, but if you think about it in terms of depth, it's 5.373 miles deep.
Holy hell.
I
It's
can't
a
even
very deep.
fathom that.
No. Nailed
That
it.
was good.
Thank
That
you.
was really good. So here's a quote from worldatlas.com. The trench is the point where the Caribbean plate and the North American plate separate. The Caribbean plate is moving east while the North American plate is moving west.
That feels like that's going to be a problem someday.
Oh, it sure is. We'll get to it. Geological
Great.
studies suggest that earthquakes originating from the fault zone are likely to generate destructive tsunamis.
Tsunamis are the scariest natural disaster.
Yeah.
So terrifying.
I think rogue waves, the San Andreas fault situation, all of that is wrapped up into basically a tsunami. And I watched that motherfucking Ben Affleck movie, and I will never unsee it.
The Ben Affleck movie?
It's not Ben Affleck.
It Ben Affleck?
It's no, it's Matt Damon.
Matt Damon.
And what's her face? Christina Applegate.
Can't.
Yeah, that
Can't.
movie is horrifying.
What about the Naomi Watts one?
Yeah, it's
That's
Naomi
the one.
Watts,
Yeah, Naomi
not
Watts.
Christina
Sorry.
Applegate.
Yes.
I don't think it's
They're
Matt
all
Damon
the
either.
same.
Whatever, it's fine. We've
It
become
is,
our mothers.
yes.
It's
Yes.
Matt Damon and Naomi Watts.
Correct. We got there.
Don't.
We got there.
If you're not familiar, don't even Google it. Don't.
I
even-
watched that.
It's called
like,
The Impossible.
early-
It's not Matt
Yes.
Damon. It's Ewan McGregor.
Oh, right. They're all the
And-
same to me.
And it is absolutely hard.
We got there.
We got
We
there.
got there eventually. It's
Please be
Ben
Ewan
Affleck
McGregor and not
and
Ethan Hawke.
Christina
Yeah, it's Ewan
Applegate.
McGregor. Okay.
Jesus Christ.
There's a blonde woman and there's a white man.
There's a
Yeah.
nondescript
that
white
movie-
man.
About the blonde lady and the white guy.
Anyway,
And the wave.
there's a really big wave. They have to cling to a lot of things. It's very scary.
They get
Infection.
separated. She's
Oh.
got like a broken leg.
It's a mess.
It's a
honey.
mess.
It is a mess.
if you want to sob,
Oh, for
watch that
hours.
movie.
That was like an early pandemic. Oh, I've never seen that. Oh my God.
Yeah,
Okay,
Moment.
It'll
early
wreck you.
I watched that and Contagion early pandemic.
yeah, we
like
all did.
lockdown.
Mhm.
Why do we hate ourselves so much?
That is a question we cannot answer today.
That was a punishing decision
Mm-hmm.
on my part. Okay. Geological studies suggest that earthquakes originating from the fault zone are destructive tsunamis. I've already read that. From that specific trench. In 2012, a robotic vehicle explored the trench and discovered a swarm of amphipods.
the fuck is that?
Like little shrimps, like little deep sea little shrimps, little
I'm
clear
good.
little guys with lots of legs.
Nope.
Amphipods.
I'm good.
An analysis of the sea creatures revealed that they were a species of amphipods that had only been found in the ultra deep trenches of the Pacific. Oh, God, I hate this.
The only ocean that I trust is the Indian Ocean.
It's fairly
Okay.
shallow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Several species of invertebrates and crustaceans were also leading the researchers to conclude that the trench provided habitat to species not found anywhere else on the planet.
That
So-
also freaks me out.
So let's just say, just for context, that this depth, this Milwaukee bullshit
Mm-hmm.
is just over 8,700 meters deep. So 8,700 meters deep. For context, the pressure at about 200 meters, a cork would pop into a bottle of champagne.
Like suck in.
Mm-hmm. That's just
What?
at 200 meters. At about 2,000 meters, if you were to punch a hole in a pressurized scuba tank, instead of air rushing out, water would rush in.
No.
So that's only at 2,000 meters. This shit's at 8,700 meters.
I don't understand anything about physics.
The pressure,
None of this makes sense. None of it's real.
the pressure is so extreme that we can't even
can't
fathom it.
Oh.
Well,
Or like robots can, but like
robots
humans cannot.
can. It would be so extraordinarily dangerous. I don't know. I read something that, this has to be a joke. I read something that James Cameron went down there, but I think isn't that the movie The Abyss that he directed? He didn't actually go down there.
I
don't
don't
know.
fucking know. He hasn't called me in a while. I don't know. I don't keep tabs on James anymore.
We're due for a check-in.
Jamie.
We've grown apart.
Good old Jim kind of fell
We've
off the
grown
face of the earth.
Okay.
Oh my God. Okay, so
Oh.
the depth at which the Milwaukee Deep reaches is deeper than what scientists just call the abyss. It's deeper than the abyss.
So if a ship were to sink there,
You'd never fucking find it.
Bye-bye.
bye-bye. Not only would
Bye-bye.
it be so deep you'd never find it, it would also probably be like crushed and implode.
It would probably disintegrate because of the pressure. There's like no light down there. It's tons and tons and tons and tons of just pressure weight of water around it. Like
Cool. I can breathe.
Uninhabitable.
I'm fine. I don't know why you're even asking. I'm fine.
Okay, let's leave that behind us. We're good. That's the last scary thing I'm going to talk about.
Sure.
Because it's less fun to talk about than the conspiracy theories. A 1962 article in American Legion magazine describes what happened to Flight 19, which was a group of Navy pilots who were on a training mission in December of 1945. So there were like 5 or 6 different airplanes. So it was a troop of airplanes. With his compasses apparently malfunctioning, couldn't imagine why, the leader of the mission got severely lost. All 5 planes, 5 planes, flew aimlessly until they ran low on fuel and were forced to ditch at sea. That same day, a rescue plane and its 13-man crew also disappeared. Nothing was ever found from any of those 6 airplanes.
Whoa.
So this was one of like the first, this was kind of one of the first like majorly
Documented.
reported on disappearances.
It's the nothing ever found that just
Well, we just talked about
really
that
gets
fucking
me.
trench.
I know. I like logically I can grasp it, but it just is that's so terrifying to me.
Mm-hmm.
The no trace.
I also read that there's like a part that has more seaweed.
So the Sargasso thing?
Yeah.
So the Sargasso Sea, and I don't think I have this in my notes actually, but it is because of all those weird currents in that area. Basically, there's a big glob of seaweed,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really dense. It's super thick, and it's super huge.
Mm-hmm.
So if a boat were to get stuck on it, it might fuck up the propellers. It would fuck up just the way the boat is able to move.
I wonder if some of the like Cthulhu monster, sea monster shit comes from any of that.
Maybe.
I feel like we've had
Like
sea
the giant
monster theories
squid
forever.
that-
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like the big squids, you mean?
Yeah, with like the tentacles that come up and like fuck up the boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe. I don't know.
That could result from like seeing something in the dark that had to do with like the Sargasso Sea
Right. Maybe.
seaweed and whatever. I don't know. Who knows? Author Alan W. Eckert wrote that the flight leader had been heard saying, quote, and don't ask me for any explanation. I don't know it. I don't get it. Quote, we are entering white water. Nothing seems right. We don't know where we are. Water is green. No, white. He also wrote that officials in the Navy Board of Inquiry stated the planes, quote, flew off to Mars. So thanks, Navy.
Weird. So
They were just gone.
So there were like weird like light tricks too.
There were weird light tricks, and the Navy itself was just like, they are completely gone. They may as well have gone to Mars. Other theories abound. Apparently, when Christopher Columbus sailed through the area on his first voyage to the New World, quote unquote, he reported that a great flame of fire, which was probably a meteor, crashed into the sea one night, and that a strange light appeared in the distance a few weeks later. Some hypothesize that a parallel universe exists in the Bermuda Triangle region,
probably
causing a time-space warp that sucks the objects around it into a parallel universe.
Amazing.
cool.
And there are also theories of an electronic fog in the area, so whatever the fuck that means.
Oh my goodness.
Here's a quote from livescience.com, a most reputable source. Some believe that the mythical city of Atlantis may lie at the bottom of the sea and be using its reputed crystal energies to sink ships and airplanes.
That's absurd. Atlantis was off the coast of England, as we all know. And
I thought it was in like Greece.
no. And I had a psychic tell me once that I used to be a scribe on Atlantis. So we
Whoa.
know that she was really
Spot
legit.
on. Yeah.
Spot on. So it's your fault.
Wait a minute.
Tell us where the 50 ships and 20 airplanes are.
And the
Never.
gold.
Yeah, and the gold.
I want to know where the gold at.
Why
Where
do
the
you
gold
think
at?
I
Show me
still
the
can't
gold.
sing? I am Ursula.
Keep singing.
Keep singing. Other
Love
more
that bitch.
fanciful suggestions include time portals and extraterrestrials, including rumors of underwater alien bases.
Yes, 1,000%.
We'd never
not
know.
rumor, just fact.
I saw a tweet today that said something like, the most disturbing thought about aliens visiting Earth is if they just like landed in the ocean, didn't speak to humans at all, spent a couple days underwater doing something, and then just whoop, left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, that is way scarier
Also,
than
like,
aliens.
If aliens exist, they're probably just like some version of like octopi.
Yeah.
That's my theory. They're
And
just
they're
like
just watching us
really
fucking all
intelligent coral.
Mm-hmm.
Like in that movie with Amy McAdams.
Amy Adams.
Amy Adams? Why can't we remember any celebrities?
where they
name?
just
this
are-
is like
are
worse
sending,
than
like-
normal.
Yeah, they're like the two orbs. They're like Rorschach blobs.
Yeah,
but they like
look
communicate.
like water rings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they look like a water ring.
they look like. Why didn't you use a coaster?
They super do.
Yeah,
We're
That's
describing
why I'm
these
so
movies
irritated
so
by that
perfectly.
movie.
Is it?
I think there's something about them that's unsettling, and it's not because they're like amorphous aliens. It's that they look like water rings, and that stresses me out on a deep level.
Fair enough.
there you go.
I got a lot of wood surfaces in my house.
You do.
Everybody needs to get a wine and crime coaster set.
Yes.
They're really
accurate.
cute.
Wine and Crime Podcast at bigcartel.com. Okay. Still others believe that the explanation lies in some sort of extremely rare and little known, yet perfectly natural geological or hydrological explanation. For example, perhaps ships and planes are destroyed by pockets of flammable methane gas known to exist in large quantities under the sea.
Fuck?
Deadly farts.
We have to be
So-
worried about fires erupting from the ocean?
Yes. So actually, it's not in my notes, but I read about it, so just bear with me. Basically, pockets of methane come up from the Earth's guts,
Crust. Yeah.
and then they form like big bubbles at like, say, the seafloor. And then at some point, once they get big enough, they burst. And so like massive bubbles of gas rise to the surface. So not only do they like pop at the surface, so that in itself is like a big event, but they're also flammable methane gas.
So that could be what Christopher Columbus saw too.
Could be, yeah. But actually, I'll keep
If
talking
he
about
saw
that for
anything,
just a
not
second.
that you could really trust a word that man fucking said. But yeah.
Right. So maybe lightning or an electrical spark ignited a huge bubble of methane that came to the surface right next to a ship or a plane, causing them to sink without a trace. There are a few obvious logical problems with this theory, including that methane exists naturally around the world, but that such an incident has never been known to happen.
So that's just a theory. We haven't
That's-
actually seen that occur.
Correct. That's just a theory.
Are there
But
like
also-
underwater volcanoes?
Yes,
Yeah.
but there aren't in this area.
Okay.
I kind of glossed over that because there are no active volcanic things in that particular area.
Okay.
But yeah, the methane gas thing, yes, it can happen. Yes, it might be happening. The ocean is so fucking huge that just because we haven't observed it doesn't really mean jack shit.
Right.
Wow.
Despite its infamy, the Bermuda Triangle is one of the most heavily trafficked shipping lanes in the world. In 2013, the World Wildlife Fund conducted an exhaustive study of maritime shipping lanes and determined that the Bermuda Triangle is not one of the world's 10 most dangerous bodies of water for shipping.
Okay.
Disappearances do not occur with greater frequency in the Bermuda Triangle than in any other comparable region of the Atlantic Ocean. The exact number of vessels that have vanished is unknown, but like I said at the top, the most common estimate is about 50 ships and 20 airplanes, which really is not that outstanding of a number when you think about the total number of ships and airplanes. We can definitively debunk any paranormal mysteries surrounding this area and chalk it up to sloppy research and mystery mongering.
like the rest of this episode.
Yeah.
It's the Bermuda Triangle.
It could also just be like once that mystery that term was coined, more attention is paid to any accidents that do occur there.
Right. It draws attention.
1,000%. You name it, and then suddenly it's a thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then also because it's geographically close to the U.S. and also like a lot of like British colonies, or formerly British colonies, whatever, it was probably more on the minds of the Western press and media than some other, seas or areas.
Also, if you think about like when this kind of started entering popular culture, like the mid 20th century, that is when people started flying for leisure. So you have a lot of travel agencies popping up. You have a lot of discussion about like all of these islands that you can go to that are relatively accessible from the U.S.
To Cuba for like lunch.
Yeah, for
exactly.
funsies.
So there was a lot more conversation about traveling in that area. And like I said, this mystery mongering, it sold newspapers, it sold books. It was just a thing. And we're going to fully indulge in that for the rest of this
episode.
episode.
Now we're about to sell some other shit. Let's hear a word from our sponsors. When it comes to looking good, Stitch Fix has you covered. Say goodbye to endless browsing and hello to fresh picks curated for your taste and size.
Listen, you all know if I could go door to door proselytizing about Stitch Fix, I would. I just don't want to exercise that much. So, whether you need date night dresses or cozy loungewear, Stitch Fix can help refresh your look. You can schedule a fix, and a stylist will send you 5 pieces that fit your style, your size, and your price range with no subscription required. You keep what you like and you return the rest. I just got some very cute boots in my Stitch Fix. Like, I've gotten boots, sneakers, bags, like other really cool high quality accessories.
Great jeans.
As well. So many, all of my favorite pairs of jeans are from Stitch Fix. They all fit me. It's actual magic. I say it every time we have an ad for them. I can't get over it. It's incredible. And if you're like me and you like to shop but you don't want to endlessly browse, then check out Stitch Fix Freestyle. It's an online shop built just for you. It's like having your very own clothing store. It's like curated. So to get started, take a style quiz so Stitch Fix can learn your preferences from your favorite colors to preferred fits and price ranges. It's the easy way to get items that are just right for you from brands that you know and trust like Madewell and Sanctuary. I've also found that it's helped me sort of like broaden my style horizons. I've never been much of like a blouse person, but they've sent me a couple of really cute, like perfect for brunch blouses that I'm like, okay, I actually could be a blouse gal.
Yeah, this looks good on me.
Yeah, so it's time to get looks that are so you.
Get started today by filling out your free style quiz. We love a good quiz. At stitchfix.com/gals, GALS, and take advantage of free shipping and returns. That's stitchfix.com/gals to try Stitch Fix. stitchfix.com/gals and treat your wardrobe.
Treat it. When it comes to weddings, there are moments you'll always remember, and it's not just about walking down the aisle or cutting the cake. There are a million little moments that really stick with you, and those are the things that you want to remember the most. Like, one of my favorite moments, even officiating a friend's wedding, was like the little quiet moment away from everybody where you sign the marriage license, like with your witnesses and your officiant. It's just such a special kind of intimate little detail that you don't think that much about, but it was so special. And there are so many moments like that that lead up to your wedding day. But here is the most important thing to remember: Zola.
Absolutely. I don't know how I could have planned my wedding without Zola. Whatever kind of wedding you're planning, Zola.com is the one place to start. They have got your back for all of your wedding needs. That's why over 1 million couples have planned their weddings with Zola. They've thought of everything. They can help you with personalized recommendations for a wedding venue. They've got an amazing gift registry feature. You will find everything you need, like all the classic registry stuff, like cookware, homeware, all that stuff. to cash funds, honeymoon funds. I mean, you can get gift cards. Love their registry. And Zola can even help you create stunning save the dates, invites, and a matching wedding website. I love this
I'm obsessed.
feature.
Yeah, the cohesiveness of the like mailed pieces and the website piece
It just feels so polished and put together.
I love it.
And weddings, as we know, can be expensive. But planning with Zola never is, because all of their planning tools are completely free to use, like a free wedding website that's home to your gift registry, which, by the way, comes with free shipping and returns.
Oh, I love that.
And it's not just free, it's risk-free. Get free personalized samples of your invites so you can try them out before you buy. And of course, free envelopes and guest addressing.
That is key. Who wants to address all of those envelopes?
Not with
Nobody.
my handwriting.
Heck no.
So whatever your style or budget, Zola has you covered. You can think less about the million little things you need to do and more about those million wedding moments you'll always remember.
Yes, yes. So if you're planning your wedding, here's our tip. Start with Zola. Go to zola.com/gals today and use promo code SAVE50 for 50% off your save the dates. Zola is the one place to start for your wedding day. That's zola.com/gals and code SAVE50, SAVE50, and treat your nuptials.
Treat them. So, Lucy mentioned ships disappearing.
Great.
I'm sure
covering
did.
one of those too. So
As long as it's not the same one.
it's not.
Okay. The Ellen Austin was a large multi-masted schooner.
Oh.
Love a good schooner.
Which I got
Schooner.
ripped apart when I used to be a trivia host for saying schooner,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
I understand is wrong. But I was not into boats or sailing, and that's not like a preposterous way to assume that is pronounced
It's
when you
really
just
not.
see the word for the first time.
Yeah.
It's
So
really
I stand
not.
by it. I stand by it.
I once pronounced the word chutzpah as chutzpah, and the 4-year-old that I
embarrassing.
was reading the book to was like,
Corrected you, the 4-year-old.
yeah, she was like, it's
Ma'am.
chutzpah.
Well,
Idiot.
I, in my mind, pronounced misled as misled, which we've
Yes.
discussed before. So whatever. It's
got
it's
this.
whatever.
We've all been misled.
You don't know till you know. Yeah, you've
We'll
been
stick-
misled by the English language.
We'll stick with ship from now
Yeah.
on.
Well, I understand now
Skip.
what a
Skip.
schooner is.
Schooner.
So this ship was built in Damariscotta, Maine,
Oh, your hometown.
Oh, your hometown.
in 1854. She was made of white oak and was 210 feet long and weighed over 1,800 tons.
Oh, God bless her.
Jesus Christ. Tons?
Yeah, She was a big. It was
Tons.
a big cargo ship. It had
Big
3
girl.
masts.
Real big.
Big gal.
There are pictures on the drive, not of this exact ship, but of like paintings
similar
or
ship.
renderings of similar sized ships, so you can get a sense.
Okay. She's a big gal.
Yeah. So
You could have a wedding on this ship.
Mm.
Okay.
So upon completion, the ship began making trips back and forth between Liverpool and the United States, transporting cargo. The ship was mentioned in an 1855 news article as preparing to transport 2,397,817 pounds of cotton cargo from Savannah.
It's just a little bit of cargo.
Yeah.
Just a
lot
touch.
of cotton that was grown and harvested using enslaved labor.
A lot of labor intensive cargo.
Yeah. Which is, quote, the largest cargo of cotton ever cleared at that port. And Savannah is still, to this day, one of the biggest ports.
Dang.
That is a shitload of shit.
Yeah. So the Ellen Austin spent years making runs like these between the U.S. and Liverpool, most frequently between Liverpool and New York. But for a ship that was simply transporting cargo back and forth across the ocean, she was in the news more often than one might expect. In 1856, the Ellen Austin reported $60,000 in lost cargo, which would be over $1.7 million today.
Oh.
Dang.
I couldn't find more information about that. Like what I'm assuming there was a storm or bad weather or like
something happened.
Some happened. The
there were
cargo
so
was
many.
fucked.
I mean, in the mid 1800s for sure, but even in like the mid 20th century, from what I came across in my notes, there were so many gaps in reporting. Like a lot of these alleged lost ships had returned to harbor safely, but they didn't report on that. They just reported on the fact that they were missing.
They were
in the
missing
first
for a
place.
while or
They were,
like
like,
delayed,
delayed,
and
yeah.
then they eventually did show up.
Yeah.
Hey, it's a
like,
better story to say they're lost.
it really is. But also the gaps in the journalism is
Yeah. A little messy.
very real. Yeah.
So then in the winter of 1857, a New York Tribune article titled Brutality at Sea,
Yikes.
which like it's got to be pretty bad if you're talking about it in 1857.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Detailed numerous allegations of abuse and torture by the ship's captain, a scoundrel of a man by the name of Garrick,
Yikes.
Never met a good Garrick.
No.
and members of
Never
his
met a Garrick.
and members of his crew during a recent voyage. So the article described how Captain Garrick, quote, knocked a crew member named Thomas Campbell down with a heavy wire rope
Ooh.
and then beat him over the back and shoulders, lacerating his body, and also inflicted 2 severe wounds upon his head.
Oh my God.
Well, a rope for that kind of ship is no fucking joke. It's probably like this big.
And wire,
Yeah.
or like
It's
wire
basically
bound in it.
chain. Yeah.
Basically like a stay
Yeah.
on the ship instead of
Ew.
Yeah. So it went on to say, quote, not satisfied with his own brutality, the captain set on two large ferocious dogs who tore and mutilated Campbell's legs.
Oh.
They fucked up this poor
God.
boy. His story was soon picked up by other papers, and follow-up reporting predicted that Garrick, his first mate, and his bosun would soon be arrested.
Bosun.
I know. I knew you were.
Boatswain.
I know. I knew you were going to pick up on it.
Bosun.
Bosun.
I don't know what this means, but okay. Glad you're
Yes,
excited.
You've not watched Below Deck?
No.
Yeah.
Get
We've talked
your
about this
shit
many
together.
times.
I would have thought
Many
that by
times.
now.
Yeah, I'm
Bosun.
sorry. I'm sorry.
Boatswain.
Bosun.
This
Yeah.
episode is fascinating.
Yep, I knew you. I knew
Fascinating.
that would get you.
It did.
Okay. So, however, the charges apparently didn't stick, and Garrick stayed on as captain of the Ellen Austin for several more years. So, like, nobody got punished for just torturing that poor
Right.
boy that worked on the ship. During another journey between Liverpool and New York, crew members of the Ellen Austin were accused of tying the arms and knees of a passenger
Oh my God.
together and, quote, passing a stick between them before rolling him along the deck like a bale of goods.
What the fuck?
They basically like trussed
Their
him up
arms
like
and their
a
Yeah, they just did this.
like a barbecue pig, like a roast
Oh.
pig, and then just rolled him across the deck.
My God.
Yep. In an article about this accusation, a reporter for the Richmond Dispatch wrote, quote, this ship, it is said, seldom arrives in port without similar charges being made by passengers and crew of violent usage on the part of the officers. So it was just like a bunch of like brutal, violent crew that like got off on sadistic shit and like found each other. And
It
like,
was a fraternity.
yeah.
It was SAE.
The New York Times published a similar article around the same time, which noted, quote, the officers of the Ellen Austin have a very unenviable notoriety for alleged cruelty to their men, and that the vessel has scarcely ever entered port without complaints being made to our police courts against them for cruel and inhuman treatment.
Cool.
So like
nice
every
legacy.
trip. And
Yeah.
like, again, it's the fucking middle of the 1800s.
Right. So it has to be really bad for
Yeah.
there to even be complaints that
Right.
are known.
Like official
also-
complaints.
Like
Yeah.
there's no oversight. So even if there are complaints, what's going to be done about it?
right.
Yeah. Also, like, if they wanted to, they could just throw your ass overboard in the Atlantic.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Wow.
So then in 1881, a series of events occurred that would guarantee the ship's place in the maritime lore for generations to come, and including its spot on this podcast.
Oh, most importantly, we preserve history here.
The now aging ship was making the trip back to New York on what was meant to be its final journey before retirement and was passing near the Sargasso Sea, a region of the Atlantic Ocean that is surrounded by 4 circulating ocean currents. Big old whirlpool. It is the only sea on Earth to have no land boundaries, only water. So it's considered a sea, even though it's basically just like kind of where the Bermuda Triangle is.
Sure.
Oh, wow.
And that's because of the currents. The currents are like a wall almost.
Yeah, it's a barrier.
Yeah. Interesting, right?
Yeah.
Really? What was that book that we read in 9th grade?
Wide Sargasso Sea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was like the precursor to Jane Eyre, right?
Yep.
So
I
that was
also
supposed
knew that
to
you would bring that up, and I have the book cover photo on the
my
drive.
God.
Oh,
you're so,
you
yes,
do.
you
So
do.
well.
You're so good. So it's like the
Wow.
precursor to Jane Eyre, and it's supposed to kind of describe what the fuck's Rockefeller, what was his
Mr.
name?
Rochester's wife. His wife who
Rochester's
goes crazy.
First wife who like burns alive in the attic because he's a
What?
fucking asshole.
Jane
Okay,
Eyre.
you
I
not
need to
read Jane
reread
Eyre?
Jane Eyre.
Dude, don't
faked-
bother. I fucking hate Jane Eyre.
I love Jane Eyre.
God.
Well, I liked the book for what it was. I hated the character of Jane Eyre.
Correct.
Because it's not till Rochester goes blind and can't rely on anybody fucking else that you're just like, oh, I guess you're good enough for me.
As a character,
fuck you.
she's
Ugh.
annoying, but the book is really good because it's really dark and weird.
The book is good, but Anyway, Wide Sargasso.
Wide
Sea.
Sargasso Sea is basically like good fanfic prequel to Jane Eyre.
okay.
I loved Wide Sargasso Sea.
Okay, so this sea is approximately 680 miles wide and 2,000 miles long, and the closest landmass to it is Bermuda. So it's basically the Bermuda Triangle. Don't at me with the difference. I don't care. Written accounts
It's
of
not an established region according to the U.S. Board of blah, 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 blah. So whatever.
So written accounts of the Sargasso Sea date back to Christopher Columbus's 1492 journey, and he wrote of an area of the Atlantic clogged with seaweed and lacking in wind that he feared would trap his ship, if only.
Yeah.
Some historians also believe that ancient mariners may have discovered and wrote about this portion of the Atlantic, although these accounts are now lost to history if indeed they existed. So either way, by 1881, the sea had long been known as a hazard for sailors, and legends circulated of ships trapped there for eternity, mired in
don't like that.
seaweed, with no hope of winds to propel them out, just like stuck,
Yeah. Not good.
like a parking lot.
Ugh.
paved paradise and put up a parking lot.
So
Like
on,
Shackleton.
yep.
Did you guys hear about Shackleton's ship?
Oh yes.
Is this another stuck ship?
Yes.
Arctic.
Isn't it owned
Or
by
in,
the same
like, northern
company too?
Canada?
In the Antarctic,
Antarctic.
I think. So Shackleton was the captain of the ship, and this was in the I
We'll
don't
do
remember.
it. We'll get our
I'll
facts
just
together.
do another GAC thing on
Yeah.
that too.
Table it.
We'll come back to
It's
Shaq.
really cool. I'm gonna write
Okay.
this down. Back to Shaq.
So on this fateful journey, as the crew of the Ellen Austin passed near the Sargasso Sea, they spotted another ship just kind of sitting there.
Oh God.
I mean, it was moving, but it was doing so aimlessly and erratically. And the captain, so this is a new captain of the Ellen Austin because it's been a few decades. This new captain is named Baker. And he decided to approach closer to figure out what was going on with this like weirdo ship. So Captain Baker commanded his crew to closely follow and observe the ship for 2 days in case it was some sort of like pirate trap that they were trying to like lure them closer and then take over the Ellen Austin,
Sure.
which apparently did happen. And after 2 days with no sign of any activity aboard the mysterious vessel, Baker decided that it was safe to proceed closer. As they closed the distance between themselves and this mysterious ship, they noticed something very strange. The ship seemed to be empty of any crew at all.
Oh, they're all dead.
Ghost ship.
Did it smell bad?
Baker sent a small contingency of his crew to board the ship to confirm that this was the case. And indeed, there was no one on board. So they weren't all dead, or like there weren't bodies.
They were just disappeared.
There was just no one on board the ship.
Cool.
So nor were there were no bodies, nor any sign of violence taking place. So it's not like they had been killed by a different pirate ship or a mutiny or
apart from like the regular violence, the rolling and the whatever.
Well, that's on the Ellen Austin. This is on the mystery ship, and it just like everything is like tidy.
So
like,
the Ellen Austin stumbled upon this mystery ship, and found empty.
Okay,
yeah,
got it.
Oh, fun.
All
she
of
says.
look.
Look.
All of the supplies and rations that one would expect to see on a ship equipped for a transatlantic voyage were still there, from the food stores to the sailors' personal belongings. So it's not like they like got stuck for a long time and ran out of food. All their shit was there. It's not like the crew was rescued by a different ship and so they could like take their rucksacks or whatever and like go away.
They were just gone.
They're just gone. They're just no people, but like no signs of distress otherwise.
Aliens.
Upon further inspection, the only things that appeared to be missing were the captain's logbook and the ship's nameplate. So it's a nameless ship.
Cool. So we can't even track who had previously been there.
Pirates, though, right?
No, they would have taken the cargo. They would have taken the valuables.
Okay, aliens, then. They would have known about the nameplate,
It
the
can
logbook.
either be pilots or aliens. There is no in between.
The vessel had also been
really?
The vessel had also been carrying valuable cargo of mahogany, and even that was untouched. So it was definitely not pirates.
Right, because they would have taken something.
Also, there would have been signs of violence.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
So Captain Lucy's so excited.
You know I love this shit. I fucking love this shit. Okay.
So Captain Baker speculated that the ship had probably been sailing from Honduras and headed for England or a Mediterranean port when something must have happened that made the crew evacuate quickly. Baker ordered the crew that had already gone aboard to stay there and pilot the mystery ship alongside them so they could like caravan both ships back together to New York.
Nope.
But then, after 2 days of moving along like this, a huge storm came through. The two ships were separated, and when the weather cleared, the unnamed ship was nowhere to be seen.
It claimed more victims.
Then, several days later, the Ellen Austin came across the ship again, and it was again moving slowly and erratically. When the Ellen Austin approached, they found the ship once again unmanned. The new crew that had been the Ellen Austin crew had vanished without a trace.
Oh my God.
What the fuck?
Is this true?
I don't know. I haven't seen anyone say it's not.
Oh my God. I'm putting all my eggs into this basket.
And the Ellen
I'm
Austin
obsessed.
for sure existed because I found newspaper articles of that. And the new logbook that Captain Baker had given that crew that was now manning the new ship, because every ship has to have a logbook, you know, had also disappeared.
Oh, cool.
Oh my fucking God.
Of course it fucking did. Why wouldn't it?
So the crew of the Ellen Austin, now thoroughly spooked, they tried to convince Captain Baker that this fucking ship is cursed.
Yeah,
we're just gonna leave it here.
We're gonna give it a wide berth.
Keep its mahogany.
Mm-hmm. We're good.
Fuck it. We never saw a thing, right?
Bye-bye.
But Baker was like a very like logical, considered himself to be a very logical and rational man. Mm-hmm. And so he just believed like there must be some logical explanation for what happened. And he was like, look, this mahogany is really valuable. It's basically like winning the lottery because we found it and no one else can claim it. And so like he just gets to pocket all of this money.
So he really wants to bring that ship.
Yeah, get your ass into that ghost ship and get me my money.
Yeah.
Get your ass up and go to work.
Nobody wants to plunder ghost ships these days.
So Baker doesn't want to leave it behind. So he convinces another group of his own crew to board the ship again And he assured them that the Ellen Austin would now follow behind that ship, stay really close, be no more than 10 ship lengths away from each other at any time.
Storms, honey.
And would not let the vessel out of his sight. So he's like, we're going to caravan.
God.
We're going to be even better about it.
No.
I would never.
This is not going to go well. Anytime you make a plan,
No.
something's bound to get fucked up.
He also allowed this crew of men to carry firearms on board in case there's like some sort of
Alien.
Yeah,
Cool.
something.
And guns. You know
Yeah.
what makes a ghost
Guns.
ship better? Guns.
guns will solve it.
Yeah.
It's a good guy with a gun.
Yeah. Let's send in good guys with guns.
good
We got
ship with a
this. The good ship gun lollipop.
So, but as the two ships set off again, the weather unexpectedly changed.
Dude,
The ghosts are fighting back.
This time, a dense fog rolled in, and soon visibility was close to 0.
Great. Great.
Again, the Ellen Austin lost sight of the nameless ship. And when the fog lifted, she was nowhere to be found.
Oh
my
fucking
God.
God.
Bye-bye.
Ellen Austin never found the mystery ship again, nor their missing crew members. They arrived back in New York in February of 1881 and several days behind schedule because of all this fucking shit. As planned, the Ellen Austin was then retired from her cargo runs.
Yeah,
But, like,
she's seen enough. We're done.
but
She good.
she good.
She good.
But it's still like a big ass ship. So somebody
Yeah.
still bought it and tried to use it for other purposes.
Right.
Yeah.
But many say she was cursed. And the Ellen Austin was sold to a German company that renamed her Meta.
Oh no. And then she created Facebook.
And just 2 years later, she was shipwrecked off the coast of the United States.
Bye-bye.
Oh.
She offed herself. She was like, I said I was done.
She also probably was just old and like not super seaworthy anymore.
1,000%. I mean,
But-
same, first of all.
She's
Let me
been
go
through
with
a
dignity.
lot.
Yeah.
She's clearly cursed.
She's done. She's
Yeah.
fucking over it.
Oh my God.
Wow.
I love that.
I know,
That
isn't
is
that
so
cool?
scary.
Oh, I love it so much.
So if you come across a ghost ship, doesn't matter how valuable the cargo is.
Leave it alone.
watch the first 12 minutes of Ghost Ship, and then the rest is
The best.
not great.
The absolute best. The first 12 minutes of Ghost Ship are some of the best in horror
12 minutes
filmmaking.
of all time.
Yes. And then the rest is
Best 12
garbage.
minutes of all time.
Truly.
It really is a great
Truly. I
12
stand
minutes.
by it. It's a really powerful opening horror sequence. And then the rest of the movie is so laughably bad. Like, they set us up to be amazed.
Best 12 minutes in cinematic history.
Seriously.
I haven't seen it, but now I'm going to watch the first.
What?
I'm going to watch the
So
first 15
good.
minutes so I can see it start
Yeah,
to go downhill.
I recommend
gotta see
watching
the
the whole
decline.
thing. It's extremely stupid, the rest of it. It's pretty fun. But
At
like the first 12
least
minutes,
watch the first 12 minutes. Oh my
Ugh.
God.
I know what I'm doing tonight. Fucking ghost ship.
With hybrid work becoming the norm, the strongest teams have two things in common: speed and alignment. And both come from having one hub where everyone can share work and processes, manage projects, and collaborate with clarity.
Yes. So for companies of all sizes, including some like ours with like 4 people in it, Notion provides one central and customizable workspace that can be tailored to fit any team and bring all teams together to get more done and move faster. Notion is an all-in-one team collaboration tool that combines note-taking, document sharing, wikis, project management, and much, much more into one space that's simple, powerful, and beautifully designed. With powerful integrations and seamless navigation, you'll have everything you need in one spot so you can make speed your advantage without the silos and context switching that slows companies down.
Absolutely. That's such a classic problem for most companies
Right.
and teams. It's like, I don't know, I think so-and-so's working on that.
There's too many systems
We'll
for
circle
this.
back.
We need to streamline. Plus, Notion is a worldwide network of millions of users creating templates, tutorials, and new inspiration. The product is getting better all the time, and you'll always have the support that you need. So find out how Notion may be the missing piece your team needs to grow and get more done and delight everyone who uses it in the process.
Learn more and get started for free at notion.so. You can check it out on your own and invite as many folks as you want to see how it works. Take the first step towards an organized, happy team today, again, at notion.so.
Treat your workspace.
Treat it.
Okay, so what happened here isn't funny per se.
Great start.
But as we learned in Comedian Crimes, comedy is tragedy plus time. And I just could not resist covering this ship, who is frankly a representation of all three of us, the SS Marine Sulfur Queen. My new drag name.
Absolutely. Don't call me that in public.
It's this, I can't.
I can
Like
see
to battleships.
your mermaid tail gown
Twitching.
with flames coming
Yes.
out the butt.
And there will be
Fan
sensory
art of this,
effects
please.
that include smell.
Yes.
I'm gonna just be launching stink bombs during my set.
Yep.
Just go au natural, baby.
Yeah, but I can't always fart in public
Instead of
freely.
armpit hair, you could have seaweed.
I have both. I'll use my armpit hair to attach the seaweed.
Yeah, braid
I
it.
love this.
Braid it through. Braid it together.
Somebody please storyboard / illustrate the SS Marine Sulfur Queen drag that I need to accomplish.
Yep.
So she wasn't always the Sulfur Queen. She was built in 1944, and she was originally named the SSSO New Haven. SSSO.
That's a rough
Okay.
name.
That's a
Too
lot.
much.
That's a lot.
She was a T2 tanker built to transport oil during World War II. But in 1960, it was the 60s, she was repurposed to transport molten sulfur rather than just discarding the 524-foot Quint. So
Molten sulfur.
why the fuck do we need to transport hundreds of thousands of gallons of molten sulfur, you ask?
I do ask.
Well, transporting it in a molten state is pretty standard, and it can then be used for a number of things, such as making sulfuric acid, rubbers, detergents, fungicides, fertilizers, and petroleum refining.
Okay.
So it's not great, but we use it for a lot of
A lot
shit.
of technical shit.
So in this state, it is a hideously unflattering pale bile color and reeks like rotten eggs. I am her and she is me.
Sulfur. Yeah.
Hideously unflattering bile color, pale
And
bile color, and reeks like
of rotten eggs. Hips like two battleships.
I've never felt more seen.
I love her so much. I love her so much. She needed a remodel to equip her with the right tanks for carrying sulfur instead of oil, and she was basically hollowed out and fitted with massive heated tanks that maintained the liquid state of the cargo. To keep it liquid, the tanks had to be at least 239 degrees Fahrenheit. So being on this ship was literally traveling inside of a wicked hot wet fart.
So she's also hot. Got
Yeah.
it. Got
A wicked
it.
hat,
Wicked hot wet fat. From Wikipedia, quote, a continuous independent tank 306 feet long, 30 feet 6 inches wide, and 33 feet high was constructed out of the original holds, necessitating the removal of all transverse bulkheads in the original centerline tanks and modifying the internal structure. This tank in turn was divided into 4 smaller tanks internally. So it's like one long tube with the heating system with 4 individual tanks inside of the one long big tank.
Okay.
A void surrounded the tank on all sides, leaving a 2-foot clearance on the sides and bottom, with 3 feet left between the top and the ship's weather deck. A steam system was installed throughout to maintain the molten sulfur at roughly 255 degrees Fahrenheit. End quote. Working maintenance shifts in the tank hold meant tight squeezes as well. It's literally a floating fucking nightmare for the crew of 39.
Oh,
I don't
my
think
God.
I'd like that.
Hot,
No.
wet, steamy fart plus tight spaces to maintain it.
I don't
Dear
think
God.
I like that.
I can't
Yeah.
breathe. Okay.
Deep breaths. Deep breaths of fresh, fartless air. Well, at least moderately fartless.
This episode is really
Yo.
creepy.
Ships are wild.
I don't
Ships are
like it.
really
And I am over it with ships.
Mm-hmm.
What made it even more of a nightmare is that this reno was a fucking hack job.
Yeah, once you're like fucking with the beams across the
Y'all.
hull of the ship,
Not
that's
good.
maybe not a great idea.
Like, I am all about recycling and upcycling, but the way they transformed this ship left her fully fucked. So let's review. The massive tank that held 4 other tanks in the hull was batched. Leaky as fuck. Molten sulfur would drip and harden outside of the tanks constantly.
So this big tank that held all the other
Four other
tanks, that was the whole thing was filled with liquid.
Yeah, and
Ugh.
all of it leaked. Liquid molten sulfur.
Ew.
Hot molten sulfur.
Yuck.
Leaking like crazy. And if you've ever tried to spark up a fart, you know that heat and metal and sulfur can cause fires.
Has anyone here tried to spark a fart?
Amanda
I
definitely has.
Fucking obviously.
Did it work? What happens?
I don't know if I ever successfully did it, but my friend Ryan has done it on slow-mo recording multiple times. Hi, Ryan guy. Truly a talented man.
I've only seen it in Dumb and Dumber.
It's real. It does happen. Wow. I'm just worried that if I push that hard on a fart, I'm just going to fully shit my pants and then light my ass on fire. So I'm on fire and my pants are full of shit.
I can't fart on command like that,
No.
and I also have problems just psychologically farting in front of other
Super
people.
fair. Super fair.
Yeah.
Super
Anyway,
fair.
sulfur. Ships.
So the fires on this ship were constant. So constant, in fact, that the captain and crew just agreed to like disable and not bother sounding the fire alarms.
Oh,
because they
good.
just operated with and around fires so often that they were like, meh,
Like, don't
Again-
wake everybody up.
no, let them sleep. We'll handle this. Again from Wikipedia, quote, on one occasion, the ship sailed into a New Jersey harbor, offloaded cargo, and sailed out with a fire still burning. They're like, yeah, here's your sulfur. Don't worry about the fire. Bye-bye.
We got it. Don't worry. It's fine.
It's
Casual Tuesday.
so casual Tuesday. It's so nuts. So when a fire was actually put out, the sulfur would puddle and cake around the equipment when it was cooled by water. Once shorting out a major electrical generator, and caked sulfur was also found in spaces below the tanks due to many cracks in the structure, end quote. So she is a leaky, stinky, flammable bitch.
My epitaph.
Samesies. She also had a, quote, weak back.
Tag yourself.
Yeah, tag yourself in this case. It's insane.
Tag yourself.
So weak, in fact, she never should have sailed after being fitted for the sulfur tanks.
Yeah, she didn't have any internal structure. It's like if
Pretty
you
much.
took out every other rib.
Yeah.
Oh.
Quote, a weak back on a ship means that the keel is weak and could split at any moment. And that split usually occurs around the middle of the ship, effectively cracking her in half.
Yeah.
Yep.
Apparently, this was not an uncommon weakness among T2 cargo ships, which she originally was from this era. She was falling apart, and on top of her leaky ass and weak back, corrosion.
She's a male.
I know. She's me. She's all of us.
She's all of us.
Straight
We
up,
are
she is
her.
all of us. We are her, and
Hashtag
she is us.
leaky ass and weak back.
Hashtag SS Marine Sulfur Queens. New podcast.
Oh my
But corrosion was prevalent throughout the ship, which damaged temperature gauges, a ruptured steam coil,
Eruption.
steam coil, worn seals around the screws,
Cool.
and like the crew literally referred to her as, quote, a floating garbage can.
No.
Yeah.
Honey.
Yeah.
No, you don't have to take every job.
Well, I mean, some people really do.
Yeah.
Like being,
I know.
longshoremen and seamen. That's like gotta get your semen.
Semen.
I know. Oh god.
But cargo deliveries
Nice.
were behind schedule, so the inspection slated for January of this time frame was pushed back to get caught up with deliveries.
And this bitch definitely would not have passed inspection.
Honey, of course not.
Yeah, okay.
But
so they were
her
on borrowed
bad.
time.
Listen, they knew. Fucking capitalism kills. They pushed this back to just try and get one last big-ass delivery in, and it didn't go great.
Yeah, I'm basically picturing the ship version of my mom's gray two-door Mazda when I was little, where the floor fell out and I could see the road.
Yeah, that was safer than this
moving.
ship.
Yeah. Probably smelled better.
Probably. You
No,
had
not
airflow.
really.
Airflow.
It also had a broken, no air conditioner or nothing.
Boosinator.
It was horrible. Or I think the heat was constant. The heat was always on.
Ugh, you had to keep it vented to keep the engine from overheating.
I don't know.
Good thing you had a
Probably.
hole in the floor.
Yeah.
I had a car that I bought for $400 off of Craigslist when I was really poor that I could only drive for 10 minutes before the cab would fill with smoke from the engine. So it was perfect because it could get me to work.
it was perfect.
It was perfect. It could get me to work from my old apartment to Harriet, and then it would cool off during my shift, and then it would get me home. That's it.
I remember that car.
Yeah,
Honey.
it was the fruit of the Lumina. It was a Chevy Lumina, and it had.
I would have lent you a couple $100 to get not
No,
that
honey, I
car.
got too much pride.
I know. You should have
Oh.
told someone. Send
Nope.
up a flare.
I didn't tell a single person. That got me through almost an entire year of driving to work, and then I would just bike in the summer before I scrapped it.
Wow.
Girl, I limped my way. And look where I am now. In a flooding basement.
Was that your Jeff B car?
No, that was the car I got after the Lumina.
Got it.
Also
I
had
had-
her issues.
She did, but she lasted until I was ready to actually buy a newer car. But
A real car.
a real car. I had Granny Gold, my grandma's 95 Buick Regal Custom.
Yep. Remember
She
that.
died. Totally my fault for not keeping up with oil changes. My bad. I also spray painted her with iridescent gold glitter, so she was a real spectacle. She weighed 5 million pounds, so she was a tank in the winter. It was incredible. Then I had the Fruit of the Lumina for almost a year.
Fruit of the Lumina.
Gray exterior, and then it was the car from every episode of Forensic Files.
Yep.
Gray exterior with the maroon fibers on the
Yes.
inside.
Yep.
And the front seat was just one long seat. It wasn't two seats. She was hideous.
Feel the
You can smell her.
crumbs in the lining of those
Yeah.
maroon seats.
1,000%.
There's one spot where a Tootsie Roll melted.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And you
20
can never
years
get it
ago.
back. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Then the engine basically exploded, and I was like, I'm not fixing this. So I had Camel Towing, my favorite tow company, come and scrap it.
Camel towing.
I've given a lot of business to Camel Towing, let me tell you. Then I biked for a while and took the bus. Then I got Jeff's car. So that was my
Laughs.
2002 Saturn something or other. 200
that was
or whatever.
maroon.
Yep, maroon with a beige interior, had a sunroof,
Had a sunroof.
sunroof.
Didn't have side mirrors.
What? No, the side mirrors were there, but they were bolted on from a previous incident before I got her. It was the inside door handle that had completely snapped off. Also,
what were you up to?
I don't know. It was loose when I got it. Also, extensive.
Jeff.
Oh, Jeff. I thought you were yelling at me. Extensive hail damage. So she glistened. I rode that basically into the ground and then got my Nissan Sentra.
You should have called her Hail Mary.
Hail Mary.
For a
got
lot
my
of
Nissan
reasons.
Sentra and drove that until I could get my Subaru. And now I've had my Subaru for several years. I've had a lot of exciting history with cars.
Nice.
Zach's first car, we were living in Boston because he didn't get his license till he was 25.
Mm-hmm.
New York City kid. We have friends who are our age who do not have their driver's license.
Well, why would you bother?
Right.
Yeah. If you still live there.
Yeah. So we were living in Boston. He bought it off Craigslist with student loan money. We thought we were flush. We had $9,000 each to
Incredible.
live
Nice.
off of for the year.
Plenty.
For the
Let's party.
Is that your apartment where you lived above the Noes Mormon?
That was later. Still
That's one of
broke,
my
but a few
favorite
years
names.
later.
It's one of my favorite stories.
So good.
And so he bought like a really old BMW off Craigslist.
Stupid.
And
Those are
so
very expensive to fix.
no fucking shit. We learned that the hard way. And also, like, it only took premium. It got like 2 miles, whatever, gas mileage. It was horrible. It would leak gas like onto the street.
Really expanding that carbon footprint.
It did have a car phone. He tried to get the car phone set up.
It had a car phone.
My first 2 or 3 cars all had car phones.
I remember
Wilma had
Wilma's
one.
car phone.
Yeah.
I remember Wilma's car phone. Epic.
Yeah, and we had like a Lebanese mechanic that we would take it to constantly. There was always something wrong. And eventually he was like, I am not going to take any more of your money.
This is not worth it.
He's like,
Sir.
Ethically, I have
can't.
boundaries.
literally, this mechanic who didn't know us from anything. He just knew we were
I
fucking
feel
2 young
it feels
idiots.
wrong to keep charging you for
And he
this.
was like, you
I
are
can't
not
sleep at night.
Yeah, he's like, you're literally not allowed to do anything more to fix this car. It's not fixable. Stop it.
Please stop.
Stop it.
That's fucking amazing.
Yeah, so we had that for less than a year, but we did sell it on Craigslist for what we paid for it.
Mhm.
Nice.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
So they hold their
you're
value.
saving money. They hold their value.
Okay,
Wow.
long
How
tangent.
far we've come.
Oh my God. Well, back
That
to
should
this
make
boat
someone
that's-
out there feel better about themselves.
Right. Back to this boat that's basically half the cars Kenyon and I have ever owned.
Yep.
So on February 2nd, 1963, the SS Marine Sulphur Queen took off from Beaumont, Texas, and started making her way toward Norfolk, Virginia, with over 15,000 tons of molten sulfur
Jesus Christ.
and
Oh my
39
God.
crew members in tow. All was well, and communications continued until a routine update received on February 4th was followed by ominous silence.
Oh no.
The transmission was received on land as the Sulphur Queen was approaching Florida. The Coast Guard heard nothing out of the ordinary about the check-in transmission, but when they tried to communicate back with the Queen, they couldn't get through. When the Queen didn't arrive in Norfolk on the expected date of February 7th, a search began. They combed the area for the better part of a month and only found some remnants of the ship debris and a handful of life preservers. No ship, no crew, no bodies.
Oh,
Jeez.
more aliens.
Yeah. So I have an excerpt from the original Coast Guard log regarding this event, and it's like a screenshot because you can't copy and paste this old PDF. So here's what this says. In view of the vast search operations conducted and the debris found and identified as coming from the Marine Sulphur Queen, the ship and her entire crew of 39 men are presumed to be lost. 2, concurring with the board, the vessel apparently was lost on February 4th, 1963, on its approach to or in the vicinity of the Straits of Florida. 3, further concurring with the board, in the absence of survivors or physical remains of the ship, the exact cause of the loss of the Marine Sulphur Queen cannot be determined.
Well,
So
we
she
have
gone.
theories.
Oh, yes, we do. So theories ranged from capsizing to the ship cracking in half to an explosion.
Durr.
But many wondered if our girl had been lost to none other than the Bermuda Triangle.
Wouldn't be on my top list. of
Hey,
reasons.
it's up there. It's up there.
Okay.
Methane
estimated-
bubbles.
I mean,
Yeah,
the thing
methane
is,
meets sulfur.
if it went down in that area, because it is like kind of a tumultuous corner of the sea.
Kind of.
Yeah, but like the weather was, the waves were choppy on the day that they lost communication with her. So I think
The communication thing, yeah.
it's real creepy. Nothing was ever found. I think there's obviously a logical explanation for what happened to this ship, but the fact that we haven't found anything and what sparked its destruction, it remains unknown, and
Yeah.
she is just lost to the fucking triangle.
Yeah.
So the estimated coordinates of the ship's last known location are indeed right like smack dab in the middle of the Bermuda Triangle. I put a map on the drive like that I literally just put in the coordinates from that like captain's log, not captain's log, the Coast Guard log. And it was like typing Bermuda Triangle into Google Drive or into Google Maps. Like it was like, yeah, right here. So as Lucy mentioned earlier, Vincent Gaddis was the first writer to coin the name Bermuda Triangle in his article for Argosy magazine in February of 1964. And Marine Sulphur Queen was the first triangle, quote, victim he mentioned barely a year after the ship sank. He said, quote, with a crew of 39, the tanker Marine Sulphur Queen began its final voyage on the 2nd of February, 1963 from Beaumont, Texas with a cargo of molten sulfur. Its destination was Norfolk, Virginia, but it actually sailed into the unknown.
To Mars.
Like many triangle theories, this mostly hinged on the fact that so few remnants of the massive ship and absolutely no human remains were ever found. And while this is bizarre and super fucking creepy, it's not entirely unexpected. As we discussed earlier, ships actually completely disappear more often than we'd like to imagine. Mm-hmm. And as we discussed in Fucked Up First, the ocean is a vast and formidable place that is largely unexplored and unreachable even with modern technology. Mm-hmm. Time magazine wrote an incredible article in 1963 titled Investigations, the Queen with the Weak Back, the Kenyon Lang Story.
Yes.
And in it, the author writes, quote, poor soul.
Poor
unfortunate soul.
The Queen with the
weak back.
I love it.
Holy shit.
I love her so much. Poor soul. Did the Queen fall apart or did she explode? The investigators may never find out, but one chemist testified that an explosion was a great possibility. If the Queen's ventilation system had failed, one spark could have blown the ship to the bottom.
And you know motherfuckers were smoking on that thing.
Oh, 1,000%. It's their only solace on this giant wet fart they're riding around in all fucking day. Said Mrs. Adam Martin, wife of an engineer whose first voyage aboard the Queen was also his last.
Oh, honey.
I know. She said, I never wanted to be a seaman's wife, but he had to earn a living. I came to see him off. The poor soul. I felt sorry for him when he first saw his new ship. It looked like an old garbage can afloat.
Oh, so he knew.
So she hugged him and kissed him and was like, oh, Jesus Christ.
He probably was
Bye.
like, I'm going to do this one thing and then I am out. And then
I'm
I'll find a new gig.
Oh, that's sad.
I know. It's so sad. Understandably, the families of the lost men at sea filed litigation against Marine Sulphur Transport Corporation, the company that owned the Sulphur Queen, seeking $2.5 million in damages to the now, widowed families.
And remember,
the company,
it's the 60s.
It's a lot of fucking money.
Mm-hmm.
The company fought back against this, claiming limited liability, but by 1969, the damages sought had grown to $20 million.
Get it.
And the company had not successfully absolved itself from culpability.
Yeah, it's not limited liability if you have fucking negligence and you're putting people aboard an unsafe vessel.
Yeah,
precisely. Mm-hmm. So in April of 1972, the court found the company liable and noted that the ship was not structurally sound as a result of the sulfur tank conversion. The tank was centered too narrowly within the ship, resulting in a high center of gravity, which meant that during a roll in heavy seas, it would take longer to recover or it would be more likely to capsize.
Yeah, and a large ship shouldn't be able to capsize.
Nope.
But the keel was weak and the
and the center of gravity was too high.
Was so heavy and high up. Yeah, that would.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. That's bad.
It's really fucking bad.
And we're not even engineers.
No.
I know,
but
so
I've been in a bathtub with a toy that's been overloaded. I fucking know.
Yeah.
and the ship was not this earlier today.
You need a strong keel.
You need a strong keel. You can't have a weak back on the ocean. Mm-mm. And the ship was not properly inspected nor maintained by the owners. They literally put off a scheduled known inspection.
They turned off the fire alarms.
They turned off the fire alarms. Yeah.
Means you're
she
liable.
was on fire 90% of the time.
I don't care if the crew agrees to it.
Yeah.
Your insurer isn't going to agree to it.
Fuck no. So they did end up having to pay out the families, but the exact amount I can't confirm because while they were held liable, they wormed out of additional damages that had brought the settlement up to $20 million because the ship could never be recovered, and therefore they don't exactly know how it sank / exploded / disappeared.
Come on.
And therefore cannot be held entirely responsible.
That's fucking bullshit.
Right, which like, okay, I get it, but also you knew.
At some point, something that is so unseaworthy that it shouldn't matter.
It's your fucking fault. The Sulfur Queen should have been able to retire in peace.
So the families of the people who were lost got
some money.
the 2.5 million.
They got some amount.
Somewhere
we don't know.
Between the 2.5 and the 20. The 20 million,
but it wasn't 20.
It wasn't the full 20. They had racked up the possible payout to 20 million in additional damages that had been added throughout the years of litigation.
Yeah, probably.
And so they finally had to settle. The company finally settled with these families, but not for the full amount, and I'm not sure how much they actually got.
Wow.
But over $2 million, but that's split among, if it's 39 individuals, all
with
likely married with families. That's, even in the 60s, that's not like a fuck ton of money to go around. They likely each family got less than $1 million, would be my guess. Like, well,
and
you'd have to have
everybody
gotten
going
less.
Swimming off Bermuda gets to just swim in
molten
15,000
sulfur?
tons of sulfur.
Like, that's the thing that also fucking fucks me up about this,
That's
is this
just
ship is just
down
gone, and that is just
polluting that ocean.
It's just been leaking into the ocean since the 60s.
Or it's solidified into like a massive chunk at the bottom of the sea floor.
Yeah. In the Bermuda Triangle with the deepest fucking part of the unexplored ocean in the world?
No.
Wow, this episode has fucked me up.
Right? I am not okay. I'm not well.
Thank you so much to our fan picker Rolo Dolo.
Ugh.
You don't know what you've done,
No.
YOLO Rolo Dolo.
Ugh.
And we'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Sweet dreams. Thanks for listening to Wine and Crime. Our cover art is by Kala Yip. Music by Phil Young and Corey Wendell. Editing by Jonathan Camp. Check out our website and blog at wineandcrimepodcast.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Wine and Crime Pod. If you have questions, answers, or recommendations to share, email us at wineandcrimepodcast@gmail.com. Episodes are available on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play, basically wherever you get your favorite podcasts. And if you like the show, please rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts. It is the best way to spread the word. If you'd like to show your support, visit our Patreon page to keep this podcast and the wine flowing. Cheers.